Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Luminous Human School. I'm Kristi Sandino, and I'm here with Lindsay Davis.
Hello.
And today we want to talk about something that we actually think not just serves you in a momentary basis, but could be a practice that could help you for the rest of your life. Because what we want to talk about today is how to breathe.
Breathing.
Breathing. But specifically, we want to talk about diaphragmatic breathing.
Yes.
It is an incredible life skill to be aware of how you breathe and to notice when you're breathing in a way that is quote unquote incorrect or maybe inefficient
hmm
versus breathing in a way that's really serving your body, your nervous system, your emotional body. And that's something that diaphragmatic breathing does.
Yeah. Some people call it belly breathing because that's really kind of what's happening is like your belly is moving in and out. And, you know, this might be someone tuning in like, well, I know how to breathe. Well, we all know how to breathe, but are we doing it in the most efficient way and in the way that really serves our body and our nervous system? For a lot of people, we're just kind of breathing just in the upper chest and breathing really shallow. And that can cause us to feel more stressed out, more in that fight or flight mode. It's more of an activating kind of breath to breathe shallow and only in the upper chest. So, like, maybe you're noticing when you breathe to like, do your shoulders come up to your ears? Because they don't our shoulders don't have breathing muscles in them. They really shouldn't be coming up to our ears.
Not connected to our lungs at all.
They're
But
not.
it's very common to, if you're someone who's stressed out or speaking to someone who's stressed out, if you say, take a deep breath, you'll see their shoulders go up when they take that breath. So, in fact, right now, if you're in a place where you can do this, just take a moment and notice your breath without trying to change anything.
Mhm.
What's happening with your breath? When you inhale, does your chest expand? Does your belly expand? Maybe your sides or your back? Do you feel like when you're taking a breath, it feels nourishing, or you feel like you need a little more? And now through your nose, take a deep breath and slowly exhale. And try that a couple more times at your own pace. So, this is just taking a moment to notice where the breath is going. How does the breath feel? Are you breathing through your nose or your mouth?
Hmm. That's a big one too. Breathing through the nose is going to be the best option as like your primary like way to breathe. And that's when we breathe through the nose, we're also um producing more nitric oxide in the body, and that is supportive for like concentration and memory and cardiovascular health. And it's also when we're breathing through the nose, we're filtering out a lot of the air. So we're actually able to, yeah, like have that beautiful, like natural filter that we have for the air to enter our lungs rather than just through the mouth. And there's actually like a lot of studies too that for children that primarily breathe through the mouth as they're growing up, their whole facial structure is different and they tend to have more like teeth issues and gum issues. And there's a lot actually on this
Mhm.
topic, but just keep that in mind that for the majority of your day, you want to be breathing through the nose as often as possible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Um, and it also allows for some of those just kind of a little bit more of like a slower, relaxed breath to come in and out as well. And so you're adding a little bit more resistance to the breath and you're able to slow it down a little bit more than sort of just this almost hyper breathing state through the mouth and into the upper chest.
It's generally known as a calming way to breathe, whereas breathing through the mouth is more activating.
Hmm.
So when you're breathing through the mouth, there's actual signals that go to the body that um, trigger the nervous system into a more activated state. And so we use that for certain breath practices.
Yeah.
There are breath practices where we want that. We want to put more charge into the body. But on
Hmm.
a daily basis, we're, especially in the world we live in, not wanting to create charge. We want to really be nurturing the body by breathing through the nose.
Yeah, and those, those practices that we're doing where we're maybe doing the breath through the mouth, that's what it is. It's a practice. It's a short period of your day, not the entirety of your day. Um, so, as you followed along with Kristi there and you noticed where you were breathing, if you notice you're only breathing into the chest, we really encourage you to try out this diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. And some people might be like, well, what is that? How do I do that? So many of us are so used to like just sucking our stomach in all day and like keeping our core tight and just trying to look as, small as possible at times. We've kind of been trained that way by society, right? So the belly breathing, it does allow the core to relax. It allows the belly to come out. And one way you can try this, if you're not familiar with it, is just place a hand on your belly. And you can also do this laying down with maybe a book on your belly, just so you have like a visual idea of how it's looking. But when you place your hand on your belly, breathe into your hand and feel your stomach extend out on that inhale, and then feel the belly come back in towards your body on the exhale. So just feeling the hand come out on the inhale and the hand go back in towards the core on the exhale. And if you have the book on the stomach, you'll see that rise and fall with each breath. And when we're saying diaphragmatic breathing, it's not that you don't breathe into your chest at all and you only breathe into your belly. No, it's a full breath extends both the belly and then the breath starts to move into the chest. So you're going to see expansion on both, but don't forget about the belly and only breathe into the chest is kind of what we're getting at and sharing with you today.
Yeah. So it just creates a full breath. It's called diaphragmatic breathing because we're contracting the diaphragm.
Mhm.
So when we inhale, the diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscle and it contracts up. No, contracts down.
Yeah.
As I'm doing it with my hands, I'm like, yes, it contracts down, creating space for the air in our lungs. And
Mhm.
then when we exhale, it relaxes back up. And
Yeah.
so as we strengthen that muscle, we can get a more complete inhale and a more complete exhale,
Mhm.
which is incredibly important because our body is designed to release 70% of its toxins through breathing.
So wild, right?
The first time I heard that, I was blown away.
Me too.
I always had thought that we release the majority of our toxins through sweat and
Mm,
through our elimination,
mhm.
but I didn't know 70% is through the breath.
Amazing. I know.
So we want to make sure that we are able to have really complete exhales as well, because the exhale gets rid of the built up gases and toxins that have um, gathered in the lungs to be released.
Mhm. Yeah, and then you're creating more room for more fresh oxygen to come in and get into not only your lungs, but your muscle and your blood system and everything. So it's a beautiful system our body has created here, and we can use it to our advantage by taking deep breaths.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It truly is.
Yeah, so when we oxygenate the blood, we are creating more flow, there's more oxygen available for our organs, for our brain. We can think more clearly. So a lot of the systems in our body are dependent on getting really full, complete, clean air into our body.
Mhm. Yeah, and this, can become another, a practice, especially if you're not used to doing it. So I'd say like your first step is just notice how you're breathing throughout the day. So, if you take a moment and you stop and you just become aware of your breath without trying to change it, just see like where the breath is going. How deep are you breathing? How shallow are you breathing? Breathing in through the nose, breathing in through the mouth, and just become a little bit more aware of your normal, natural habits when you're breathing. And then say, oh, now's a great time where I could take a few of those deep belly breaths and just see how I feel. And you might even find that, somewhere in your day, if you're like really stressed out and then you take a few of these breaths, probably going to feel a little bit more calm and relaxed after taking some breaths like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the other reasons for that, which is just more cool body science. When we belly breathe, we stimulate the vagus nerve.
Mm,
And the vagus nerve lies really close to the diaphragm. It's a huge nerve that comes from the back of our brain, through our neck, down through. It's called the vagus nerve, I think, because it's based on like being the wanderer, like the
mhm.
vagabond, like it wanders through the whole body. So we really want to strengthen this nerve, and we do that through diaphragmatic breathing. 75% of the fibers from the vagus nerve are part of the parasympathetic nervous system. So that's our rest and digest, rest and repair, our healing
Mhm.
state of our nervous system. So we have this great harmony working through our body with the breath and the diaphragm and the vagus nerve, and these deep breaths that then activate the part of the nervous system that's going to calm us, to relax us, to set our body into a healing mode, take us out of that survival mode, out of the um the sympathetic, which triggers the base of the brain, the survival mode. It pulls our blood and oxygen out of our extremities. It prepares us for like short bursts of fast movement,
Mhm.
which is what we need for survival. But the world we live in triggers that all the time. So now it's not just,
Yeah.
once a week, out in the forest where we see a tiger and need to run. It's
Right.
like, when we realize we're about to miss a deadline, and then we get a bill in the mail we didn't expect, and then someone says something that comes off a little unkind, and we
Mhm.
see that breath,
Yep.
and we're not moving. Now we're not actually breathing.
We're just
Exactly.
holding the breath and
We're
waiting for
locked.
the next thing to come that's gonna freak us out.
Right. So it's just like lock, lock, lock.
Yeah, and it's true. Like the world we live in today has so many things that are activating our sympathetic nervous system and stressing us out. And, we can't control everything outside of us, right? But we can start to gain more control through our internal state. And perfect way to start with that is the breath.
Yeah.
So
And you
we
do not have to do this breath every single breath through the whole day. You're not meant to just be all day long belly breathing. You want to just generally be directing your breath there, but these deeper belly breaths, like what Lindsay was just guiding, if you do that 3 times a day for 10 breaths, you are going to be strengthening the diaphragm. You are going to be strengthening the vagus nerve. You are going to be training your body to take full, complete inhales and full, complete exhales, and really moving those toxins out and the
Mhm.
oxygen in.
Yeah, and the more that you do just practice breathing into the belly and actually working the diaphragm and taking those, bigger breaths, the easier it'll just become more natural that you breathe that way rather than just in the chest. So, think of these things as practices, but you're training your body to, breathe this way a little bit more naturally over time. So you don't have to think about it all the time. It's just what it does because it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's what we're doing. That's how we breathe.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we
So,
just wanted
yeah, we would say the same
yeah.
thing. We just wanted to share this with you.
Yeah, because we were talking about it and I've really been diving in more. I've got like actually two books sitting in front of me right now on the breath, and it's just fascinating. There's so much more to share, and we will absolutely share it with you. But this is such a great, just kind of pr- intro with the breath because it's such an important piece of it. So we just wanted to share that with you and bring some awareness to how you're breathing and see how that lands for you.
Yeah. So until next time, we hope that this serves your highest good, and we love you so much.
We love you so much.